Hello Scorpio, welcome back to my channel, The Vibes Inside. I am Mariana and I will do your reading today. So I've pre-shuffled the cards and I am ready to say something. We'll see what comes through here, but it's quite potent, I think. I'm still dealing with this energy that I had last week, the Virgo reading, where there was some kind of massive hit that kind of shattered something about the Virgo energy. So maybe you have Virgo in your chart. Maybe you have known or you know a Virgo. Maybe your mother was a Virgo. Maybe you have a sister or someone and they have experienced something very dramatic. Well, with you, Scorpio, it's always, and it has come in with quite a force here for me. Even before I wanted to sit down and do your reading, it was quite massive. It really I'm still almost just got myself out of bed and I look a mess. But well, anyway, I'm here and I'm doing this. Again, I feel it's part of the reading that that is something seems urgent, something seems important. So the first card I have for you, overall energy, here is the Ace of Air, and this card came out in the Virgo reading. This one, not the last one, but this one, where but it was reversed in the Virgo reading. Here it's upright. In the Virgo reading, I talked about it could be a secret, someone keeping a secret, someone not saying something to keep, to try to keep things balanced as possible, not ready to speak about something perhaps. Again, last week I had this massive hit on the Virgo, right? And when Virgo energy is the, and I have this card also to clarify the Ace of Air here. Trust your innocence. Virgo is the innocence. Like Virgo is, it's said to have this high octave, and some can see them as like perfectionists or something like that. But it's really a need to do the utmost best they can, and it also comes with the idea of the virgin, like it can be a childlike virgin, like they are pure, they're innocent, they are not polluted by all kinds of stuff yet. And when something happens to, and I had actually the feeling of like, I don't know, this reading, maybe it's going to be a long one because I really have so much information here. Like, it's like you're the bystander. You're the bystander, Scorpio, and you instantly become the protector here. Like, this is the last card in the reading. Like, I don't even know. I'm going to cross over in the reading because there's so much energy here. It's not a like linear message. I can't do that. And that's also not you, Scorpio. You are... I see you like, it's almost like what you are trying to do with this energy is like you want to be the yang womb. Like, how can I say this? It's like you want something to be undone. Like, that's actually what you are doing here. Like, you sit and protect something. The Jaguar is the protector. the jaguar never gets to be a prey. So you sit here in the darkness here, and you're watching this. And I feel this represents the Virgo, right? The Virgo that took this massive hit and, like totally thrown to the floor. And you came in as the Yang energy to save. Because there is something about, we say that that Scorpio, you are the death card in tarot, but actually I feel like you are avoiding, you want to avoid it. Like you are the one that is, you're struggling, you have an inner fight with like a radical acceptance of death. Actually, you are more like a radical non-acceptance of death. And I feel like you would do anything whatsoever to avoid it. Especially something that is very, very innocent, right? Especially something that is very, very innocent and magical here. Like you are and this is overall energy, so this could be in your awareness at this point in time, that there's something that's so bright, shines so much. And the original, I believe, Virgo energy did that. Like it was that kind of graceful, I don't know, Jesus energy, but it has this like really, I get this feeling like this could be, like one of the disciples of Jesus. Like this, if I'm not saying you are that, right? But the remembrance that something can get out of hand and you may not be able to control it. And even though something here is so beautiful, it can be destroyed, right? Like Jesus did, right? It's like, forces in the world could not accept his grace, right? They could not accept his light. And sometimes that happens even with, and I'm going to touch on some very like maybe rigid areas here, right? But like pedophilia, where a grown person is deliberately using a child because of this, like the trust, the openness, the joy they have, the positivity they have, the laughter, the freedom that children may have, can draw these predators in, what I call them, right? And they take something. And the point is that it's almost like I'm tapping into an energy here where they are observing something. Like as a Scorpio, you're kind of observing that something dramatically changed. Like, if your girlfriend got raped, or you have a child that was molested. So from one day you have this cheerful, like trusting child, and the next day they are withdrawing. The next day they are withdrawing. They shut down, and they are totally not speaking. They're not saying anything. And in the Virgo reading, this was reversed, right? It was like they were keeping a secret, or they kept something secret, wouldn't want to talk about it, right? They went into a healing phase, needing to try to face the fears, but they wouldn't talk about it. And I have this feeling that you're directly linked with this, right? That you became the one that was standing here, right? Watching them. So it's almost like you are watching, and this is like an egg or something, like you're watching something that looked like this return into an egg, like that it withdrawed into a regressed state of like a regressed state of expression, like and you are just it's like you're the bystander. That's why I talk about you hold the yang aftermath of a big destruction. And it's like facing this powerlessness, right? That you're standing in front of something here that just, again, it's very little here. He's much bigger, right? It's very little. And like you hold like so much love, Scorpio, right? Deep, deep down. People may not see it. They may not know it about you, but you are the defender of the raw, vulnerable love. You are the defender of like the beauty of something here. And maybe you would like to have a conversation about this, but the one who got hit, the one who took the hit, they're not speaking. They're not saying anything, right? You can go back and look this round of reading. The Virgo energy, this came out reversed, right? And I just feel like that there's so much going on with an energy like this, that you became the bystander. Scorpio, you became the bystander, but you were the closest yang energy to this. So it's like you also got the hit, like, but it's like this ripple effect. So Libra got something, and they're dealing with it in a yin way. You were the closest yang, and you're dealing with it in a yang way. But this was so massive. Like as I said in that Virgo energy. Not this round, but the last one, with the scattering, like the front picture has this ball here, like, but it was black and it was scattered, like we see these pieces fly out there. So you are, and maybe you've never had an incident like this in your life, but I believe that it's part of your DNA memory. That's something, you know instantly if something is massive. You have a very intense energy because you deal with something intense. How do you fix that? How do you fix a person or an energy that has been violated like that? And everything became, again, the card is here. This is the card that was almost destroyed, right? My Ace of Gabriel here. I had to tape it together. Like, and again, it's this idea of wanting to put a bandage on a heart, right? And trying to see if you can kind of fix it somehow. But the hit was there. The hit came. And that hit is kind of unforgettable. It's not just going away. But you are the closest one to kind of, what am I going to do about this, right? And in your energy, Scorpio, we have everything that could play out. Like the utmost feeling of powerlessness, like you're standing in front of something that is literally dying in front of your eyes. Like it may still be alive, but you can see that they're dying. You can see death. You can see it in other people, I think. That if people have had a massive hit, you can see it. You can feel it. Your tentacles, right? You can feel this. You can feel if you stand in front of someone who has this energy. and it's like this is gone, right? And this talks about positive emotional experience, fulfilling romantic relationship, deep and lasting spiritual insights. This was destroyed with the Virgo reading last time, and almost destroyed. I had to like really fix it, try to fix it. But it feels different. Like when I shuffle the cards, I can hear when this card is on the top. I can feel it, right? I can feel the texture is different now of this. So every time you get in touch with a Virgo, I believe, or someone who has Virgo in their chart, personal planet, you can feel this. And I've made a reading quite a while ago that says something about, it was an entire line of readings that talked about DNA memories. And yours, I compared it with this idea of being close to a black hole. Like you can get to a black hole, but there is an event horizon. And when you pass that one, you are drawn into, you're sucked into it. You have no way of getting back out. So you have to become aware of the event horizon. That when you get to the event horizon, you should stop your curiosity, right? You should stop your search. Otherwise you are drawn into this, and the black hole is not giving. It's like death, right? That if death is here, it's not just necessarily just changing its mind and say, oh, never mind, you just go back then. Like if death is here, it has this like really craving kind of energy that sucks the life out of a person, right? Like a black hole. And the person dies. This seems a little bit like that. Like you have the awareness. When you meet people, you can see if death was there, if death has touched them. Like, like an abused child, a sexually abused child, or a rape victim. You can see it, you can feel it in their aura that death has put their finger on them, and something left. Something is not there, it's taken, right? It's taken from them. You can feel, you can smell it, Scorpio. You can smell it from a distance. It can draw you in because you are the protector here of these people. But it can also, as I said, the event horizon, you can get so sucked into this that it literally is killing you also. But you're very strong, Scorpio. Very, very strong. You can deal with death in a matter where, like no other sign. And it can reveal like the most I don't even know how to, like the worst feelings, the devastating feelings the most, because deep down you are a protector of love, right? You're a protector, and it's almost, again, I see it a bit like, if you could, you would create the womb for this one to rebirth them, right? If you could, you would take them under your wing and you would do anything. That's why you're into occultism, right? That's why you would go any dark way if you could. Anything to revive it. Like that's your area, right? You would do anything. I talked about on my channel before, like the story about Isis wanting to revive Osiris, who was killed, and his body was like torn into pieces, and these bits and pieces of him were spread all over Egypt. exactly as we saw this, the last round of readings, there is this, my front picture has this ball, black ball that kind of explodes, and there are all these pieces that are kind of scattered all over the place. This idea of like a soul fragmentation. In this case, Osiris's body was spread all over the place. He was dead. But Isis wouldn't accept it. Like, she was in Scorpio energy at that point. Like a radical non-acceptance of death, of linear thinking of death, that it should be possible to revive, keep something, get it back, right? And here we talk about necromancy. We talk about reviving the dead. And this is where a goddess like Hecate can come in. I've mentioned her a little bit before, but she was a very powerful helper, you could say, in that regard. And I feel like you are this, like you have this radical, like, I want to say, non-acceptance of death. One of the things I talked about in that former video about Virgo was that what happened when this was scattered was actually like that the idea of unconditional love got destroyed. It became conditional. So now we had like a good and a bad. Before that, we had not there was no separation. So this massive hit that Virgo energy is holding is actually maybe the hit of, you could say, how Earth became third dimensional. That Earth had a higher frequency once, much higher frequency, and something extremely dramatic hit it, and like it's like there is some kind of, it's like an inheritance, memory, bloodline thing, like that I talked about it in the Virgo reading. I've said it many times that Virgo has this very clear understanding that you have to do whatever you can to stay up, like to be good, to do your utmost best, because they know at sometimes it's flipping and then it goes downwards. There is this instinctive knowledge embedded in all Virgos, I think. And when the doom comes, it's almost like they're not prepared. They are not prepared to deal with something like that. It really scatters their heart. It's like the God energy disappears, right? Like, how can this happen? I have done everything to keep myself up. How could this happen? Like, but when the doom comes and everything is starting to decline here, that I literally feel that, like, that when it comes, it's almost like the Virgo is never fully prepared. Like it doesn't understand how it could happen. Like, I've always done good, right? I've always tried to eat right. I'm not a drinker. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I do everything right. Right? That's how they go about life. It can also almost be obsessively perfectionistic, because they are by all means trying to avoid the doom. And this doom I'm talking about is this hit that came in at some point. And you know about this. You know this. That at some point, Earth, we, all of us, our ancestors, what lived at the planet at this time, there is a recalling, like there is some kind of memory about this. You stood there. Your energy, Scorpio, was standing there right in the midst of the chaos when this hit came and everything was blasted up. The sky was black and there was death all over the place. That is you, right? This is you. You saw everything that was usually there suddenly became dark. Suddenly it became dark, and you're pretty much aware of this. That's why you have your spider senses. You are scanning. Who am I standing in front of? Because if you're standing in front of a Virgo or someone with Virgo in your chart, I believe you can feel this. You can smell it, Scorpio. This disaster here. Because you cannot stand in front of a Virgo and not feel the protective energy. I don't believe that. Like you cannot. It awakens it. Like if you encounter a Virgo, they don't even have to say anything. They don't have to speak about their past or anything. If you encounter a Virgo who holds some kind of trauma, your inner protector here gets activated. And you would probably run from it because you don't like it. You know, this is a terrible memory. And it's a memory of devastation. Like everything gets scattered around you. We have to imagine that. If this is an earth memory, right? That earth speaks through us. Like the mother is telling us a story about old times. She's telling us a story about this. And some of us remember. We feel it. We can feel and tune into it, right? I think I can. And that story is a terrible one. Why do you think you are black, Scorpio? That the Scorpio is black? Why do you think you have such a thick armor and a poisonous tail? Why do you think that? It's because you had literally to invent fire here. Page of fire. That is your tail. You had to invent fire here to bring some kind of order back to this life. You had to become defensive. Here, this is you, right? Scorpio, Jaguar here, black. You had to invent fire. Because in order to protect what was left, I want to say, of Virgo, because this is the memory, right? You know, like, and this is again where I feel you are the protector. You took some of the the pieces that were left of the Virgo, the once Virgo, the one before the hit came. We could even say that you are the protector of the fifth dimensional love energy here. This is the one you keep at the bottom of the sea, protecting it, waiting for the right time to revive it, right? You hope you can revive it. You are the masculine womb of this. And I think you know it. Like if you encounter a Virgo, I don't believe you cannot not feel it. You cannot. Unless you are extremely out of tune with yourself. Because again, what does this protector go through? Like when you realize that something had a hit like that. I said it a long time ago. Something about that the masculine energy witnessed or found the feminine energy thrown to the ground. And he had to take her And what I saw in that vision was like he had to take her, like lift her up, and she was totally like lifeless. And he was carrying her into a cave, and he stood in front of that cave like a warrior, just fighting everything off here, right? That's what I feel like is happening here. It's like you took, you could say, the leftover Virgo. You took her and you hit her. You hit the remains of it. And then you're standing and fighting. You're fighting it off, right? Like that. You're fighting every adversary, everything that wants to come near her. You're fighting it off. This can be something that talks about your inner process, like something inside you. You know that deep down here. We could say this is the heart, right? It's your heart, that you're protective about your heart, right? Because you know what happens when fifth dimensional love becomes third dimensional. When something that beautiful becomes a shadow of itself. Like when it reduces down to almost nothing. You're protecting a fragment here of something. That's what I feel like. Again, you can be overly protective of your children, of a loved one. Especially if they have Virgo in their chart, you will be extremely protective of them. It doesn't matter where. If it's a moon energy, Mercury, it doesn't have to be Sun. Especially Sun, I think, but the other planets as well. A Virgo would probably not usually maybe get attracted to a, like physically, romantically, sexually attracted to a Scorpio, but they will know that the Scorpio can protect them. Just subconsciously, I think. And somehow they are on the same wavelength, like both of them are actually holding this like deep down, Scorpio, you know it, right? It's you are the protector and the defender, and you're not accepting the death of unconditional love. Like it's you're yearning for it. You miss it. You want it back. You want it to come back. And as I said, you're into occultism. The reason for that is because you are not. It's like, you're still doing heart massage. You're still trying to keep something that potentially would die. You're still doing it. Like you're not accepting that this beautiful thing here. You're not accepting that it's regressing, that it has regressed into third dimensional existence. You want the fifth dimension back here. Her here, like this. You remember, the Ace of Air can be an epiphany, that suddenly you remember something here. That you remember something. Right? You remember something about what she looked like, the Virgo, right? What she looked like here. You want to talk to her about getting this back, right? But she has regressed here. She closed down, right? She couldn't keep, as like an abused child. There is no laughter. There is no trust. It's a regressed state of being. It's a half dead. Like the light the positive emotions, the trust in fulfilling relationships, it's gone. It's gone. So you're standing now with the aftermath. You're standing with the rape victim. That's the one that is left. And you're not wanting to accept it, right? It's like you're still doing the heart massage. As I said, it's like Isis. Like she traveled all over Egypt and picked up all his pieces, Osiris's pieces. And she used with Hecate this necromancy energy to revive Osiris. And he came to life. But he came in a version where he was not like humans anymore. He became the lord of the underworld. That is where he could exist, right? But it was the only way that she could have contact with him. And she would rather prefer that than that he was gone, like the radical acceptance of total death. She was in Scorpio energy at that time, I feel like. She would do anything to get that love back. To get that love back. And going through, we talk about Scorpio is the death card. It talks about death, transformation, rebirth. I believe that you, Scorpio, you would do anything to rebirth something here. We have all the feelings of like, it's like losing your precious, like the most precious, that would be her here, right? The most precious feminine, or the most precious, I wouldn't even give it the gender actually. This is light energy. This is grace. This is God love. It's Jesus. It's like, you know, if you were one of the disciples of Jesus, where your energy comes from, you were one of the disciples, you witnessed how amazing this was, right? How beautiful this was. And after he got crucified, it's like life was not the same. Even though he came back, you know, in ghost form or spirit form and talked to the disciples, it was not quite the same, right? You had to keep what was left. And now it's a memory, perhaps. Now it's a photo. Again, how do people... When a loved one dies, or it's like looking at two different photos. One, your child when nothing had happened before the hit, and then you look at this at another photo after the hit, and now it has changed. Like the look in the eyes, the stress, the chaos. The mistrust in their behavior, the control they are trying to exhibit, right? You know, like OCDs or something. You know, like they become like they need certain things. They need a very like maybe routine and very. Because chaos had arrived, and it took this away, right? It took the innocence away. It took the beauty and the grace, the trust, the light away. So now they became like a living dead. Death has touched them, right? They have just poked at them. and it changed something. It has destroyed or taken something. As I said, if you get too close to the event horizon, it's like you could lose something, right? And you get sucked in. So it's like there has been planted this seed in them of a black hole. And you can feel it, right? You can feel this. You can instinct, if you stand in front of a person who has gone through something like that, your tentacles pick up on this. You can feel, oh, right? There is a black hole there. And it keeps calling for more food, right? It keeps calling. That's why I believe that people who have gone through some kind of traumatic experience, their focus, the way the mind thinks, is creating more and more of these thoughts of trauma and sadness, and they stay in post-traumatic stress because the black hole requires so. It needs fuel. It wants something. So it's a way of living, but you're not living. You're not living your fullest, right? Do you get my point? And if this is a loved one of yours, like you have been the witness, you saw the aftermath of something. It's like you come home, right? And all your home has been, everything has been torn into pieces. And you come home and you're and you see your wife laying there. Or your child, or both. Like a mass destruction of something you love dearly. And you are the masculine, right? So you take some kind of action. You build a shield on your back, right? And this is where the dark energy comes in, not because there are so many emotions that come in. And this is where the fire is started, right? That the fire, I believe you're the fire starter here. You're the one who created fire like that. This came as a result of like massive destruction. I see this, the fire can be like a willpower, right? And here I go back in like history when fire got started the first time ever. Not our current lives, but when was this created the first time? It was created out of powerlessness and despair and, revenge, or all kinds of feelings that can come when you're protecting your precious. And a precious that has received a massive hit. You don't even know if you can get it back. That her or this back in its original form. But you're not accepting it, that it's gone. You're still doing the heart massage here, right? It's this radical non-acceptance of death, actually. That something in its original form is dead. You're not accepting it. You use all your energy. That's why the fire came here, right? That you use all your energy to get this back. This is where the fire started at the first time, I feel like. To get this back, to repair this, to heal this. You're a protector. Many of the zodiac signs are protectors. They protect a wisdom Some protect their wisdom. That would be air elements. Some protect consciousness. That's you. All water signs. And I believe especially you here. We talk about Scorpio is the formless. This is something that is molding in the air or in the water, you could say, like something is not in the water, but it's becoming, right? It's becoming. Your creature, the Scorpio creature, is created out of this despair, I believe. The memory. I believe every film that you see on Netflix, every story told, every fairy tale, it's a memory. It's a DNA memory. It's not just like this person is extremely creative. No. They remember. They are speaking from the time of when they were way back, when the energy was pure. That's why Cancerian energy in its original form is daydreamy and happy and joyous and something like that, because it happened before the hit, before the Virgo. All the elements before. It's interesting how we have one half is before the hit and one half is after, yin and yang. The elements after Virgo have much more awareness about, I want to say, probably poverty consciousness, lack mentality. The awareness of these zodiacs, it's much more present. Just something I think, you don't have to agree, but not to say that they can be happy. Of course they can. But it takes more effort. And they are more protective of their energy. They are not investing in something that, like, it has to be worth it. There has to be a higher meaning to it. There has to be, like, different intentions. Where the first zodiacs, they are, first of all, they are younger, but they are also, you know, like more impulsive. They are more raw or more authentic, perhaps, in their way of expressing themselves. Unless they have many of the other planets in their zodiac also. I am a Cancer sun, but my Mars is Aquarius. My rising is Capricorn. My moon energy is Virgo. The doom. My Jupiter is Scorpio. My Neptune is Sagittarius. So I have planets that talk to one side of the story and planets that talk to the other. My Sun is Cancer. My Venus is Gemini. My Mercury is Cancer. And we have, Mercury is retrograding right now, and my Mercury is Cancer. So for me, it's feeling something. Feeling. And retrogrades always takes us back. Like it wants to take us back and figure something out in time, right? Remember something from the past. We meet people from the past. Again, there could be issues with electricity. I don't think it's going to be that big this time around. It's Mercury in Virgo, actually, retrograding. So Virgo energy is quite present right now. We are in Virgo season. So maybe that's also why this comes up so profoundly. That the last time of reading were kind of leading up to this, right? Because somehow we are all facing like the aftermath of this big hit. I have even talked about, there's a series on Netflix called The Universe. And it talks about, well, what scientists have figured out and theories about the creation of the universe, our planet as well, our solar system. And well, some of this must of course be theories because we were not present, we were not there, unless we count our bloodline inheritance, whether it comes from humans or other creatures. I don't care. The point is that I believe there is a memory, that we all carry a subconscious memory of something. And that it goes all the way back to whenever creation started. But what it talked about was that, well, I believe they say that Earth is around 13.8 billion years old. And the first part of creation was terrible, or very, it was a bit like Scorpio energy, something that didn't have form suddenly came into form, right? That from all these dust pieces, we suddenly had a planet. And it took several million years to form that planet. It's like what I call a yang womb, right? That there's an ability to build or create something out of a very destructive kind of energy. All kinds of creative process can be chaotic. So it's yin and yang blended here. But what was interesting also was that there is this theory that Earth had a twin planet orbiting at the same, exact same distance from the Sun. So orbiting with us, with the Earth. They were almost equally big. Earth slightly bigger than this other planet. And because of the gravitational pull they had to each other, eventually, from maybe being in this kind of orbit, they came closer to each other, right? They came closer to each other, and eventually the gravitational pull pushed them together and made this, like, it would be what we would call today a planet killer, because both planets were almost equally big. It was a massive hit. This scientists talk about this happened maybe like when Earth was around 50 million years old. If I should relate this to like the Virgo energy, well, I don't know. I haven't made the math of this, but if you go back in time like that, astrology-wise, which kind of age was Earth in then, right? Was it the 8th age of Virgo? As this understanding, you can look it up even, that if you look at the moon and the density of the moon has a density that is less dense than Earth. And our moon is said to be a fragment of that explosion that actually happened between Earth and this twin planet called, I believe they called it Freya. That when this came together, and it hit each other, it created a massive explosion, of course. But somehow Freya and parts of Freya and most of Earth kind of merged with each other, and is still today. But the moon, the planet we see as the moon, is a fragment of that Freya planet. It has it's less dense than Earth is. So it makes me wonder, right? It makes me wonder why you could say some of us are feminine and some of are masculine. Dense, less dense, duality, right? The merging of planets, why we are looking for the things that we are separated from, like you look for a soulmate, right? We want to merge with something that potentially could make us feel whole. We're looking for this other half. In the Libra reading this time around, the Libra reading had a big focus on the moon energy. Actually, the healing needed to take us back to the moon energy, a less denser energy, meaning that you take the pain away, right? Density here on Earth is because we carry the black holes, like we carry the woundings. We have the thoughts of misery and suffering and all this stuff. The more we carry about this, we're feeding into this, the trauma in us. The Libra reading talks about liberating yourself from that, getting all this density out so that you get your light back, right? That again, there's this emphasis of wanting to get the light back here in, but doing it in a yin way. And yin is not necessarily talking. Like yin is an inner process, like processing internally, an inner process, where yang can be more expressive. We talk about it, we go to therapy, we share. So that with you, there could be this emphasis of speaking or talking. But what you are talking, again, you see my hot chili on the front picture of these readings with the flamey mouth here. So here we have a talking that comes with flames here, or an epiphany that comes with flame, right? That I have to create something, and that's why I say that you're the male womb, right? That you hold a consciousness of not just water. For me, Scorpio hasn't. Well, it's definitely consciousness. The deeper, darker, this everything we would be ready to do to defend and keep the heart massage going here. You're still doing heart massage, Scorpio, on something. You're still heart massaging this because you don't want to let it go. Like this is the raw, vulnerable, passionate love that must not disappear. It can become obsessive. It can become needy. It can long. It craves. I've talked about Scorpio energy in many other ways, that it's very intense and very almost. I've used the word devouring also in some readings, that it becomes so massive that it can devour. It's prepared to devour anything that would touch this. Like that's what the Jaguar does. It's such protective energy, right? Of the things that are close to your heart, that is worth defending. That is worth defending. Especially if it holds this energy here, then I think your claws would be out. Anything. Your poisonous tail is ready, right? You're ready here. I believe that you would go fighting for this. You would do anything for those who love. And accepting them dying is probably one of the most difficult things. That you will ever have to go through. And this is where we do stuff, right? We keep a picture on the wall of the ones that have died to remember them. we have inherited the watch, your father's watch maybe, and you're wearing it every day. This is a way of not accepting that they are gone, right? It's a way of keeping them alive. That when I still have this, I can feel him, or when I'm looking at the photograph, I feel him. But Scorpio energy can take this into a totally different area. This is where we talk about the Hitchcock films, right? Now we are into a totally another area of Scorpio that is willing to go even further in. You would say, I'm just saying something, but mummifying the body of your mother. Like, I know this, but you're Scorpio, so you get it. You get what I mean about this. Others may not, perhaps, but you get what I mean. It's about keeping it alive. It's about not accepting that it's going away, that it's lost, that it's gone forever. Gone forever is not a thing. It simply can't be. Not this, not this, not this. That cannot be. Again, like when a parent is, you're realizing that your little daughter has been abused by someone in the neighborhood. Like the energy that comes into a Scorpio father of what he would do to that person if he could get him, what would he do? It's not enough just to kill him, is it? He has to suffer. He has to feel pain. He has to, like, it becomes this, like, and that's a part of that's why we have fire and water here with you, Scorpio. And I feel fire is a big thing with you also. Fire is extremely potent. It creates this, needing to revenge something. That something has gotten so much out of hand, the balance is off. And when the balance is off, using those, this is where Scorpio rises to the occasion and creates a tsunami, right? Like, and that tsunami cannot be stopped. Like, if that gets activated with your fire here, nothing can stop that tsunami. We know that, right? Nothing can stop it. And with that tsunami, you send everything. You send the sharks, right? It's not just you send water, no, you send the sharks, right? You send all your predators. You send everything in there. All the toxic tails you can find, you're sending it against this energy that has destroyed something here. I see him sometimes a bit grumpy, like he's impatient. When is this over, right? When can I step out of being this protector of something? Is it even coming back? It's almost this idea that you're the holder of, or you hold the hope for the Jesus energy to return, right? Deep down, you hold this hope. And like the last hope, when everyone else gives up, you're the one that's still, again, non-radical acceptance of something. You're not accepting that it's gone, right? You're not accepting it. You keep the last outpost of a hope here. for something to return here. And you would fight for it, right? If it presented itself, you would fight for it to your death. It doesn't matter. That the flame ignites here. This is a page, so this is where the first flame came to get this back, right? This is where you realize you were actually a protector, a defender of something. Because it was worth it, right? It's when something that innocent, so beautiful, so light, so joyous, again, when something so joyous here is destroyed, and you see, as I said, you see the remains of it. You see the remains. That the remains is a frightened, mistrusting, scared child. And you realize, I came too late. I wasn't there. So I take the remains and I put it into what I saw a cave like, and he was standing there and fighting everything off because he knew that this recovery takes time. This recovery is maybe almost uncurable. So what she has to do in the cave of reviving herself, right? What she has to do to revive herself is going to take time, a lot of time. And in the meantime, the best thing I can do is like fight everything off, right? It's the only way I can help my love. It's the only way I can save her. I need to give her time to heal, but again, she's still here. Perhaps, right? She's still here. He still stands there to fight it off. But maybe, like also a bit grumpy that this has taken millions of years. Will it ever be, right? Maybe you are not. Maybe you're not sure it will ever be. But at the same time, you cannot stop the heart massage, right? You cannot stop it. Because if you stop the heart massage, it will definitely be over. It will definitely be gone here. It's a bit like, like star seeds and others, earth keepers, what we call earth keepers or earth witches and so on. Like they work behind the scene. Because if the opposite, like if the predators knew what they were doing, they would attack them, right? It's a bit the same here, that you operate also in darkness, in formlessness. I see, yeah, I had the feeling of like the Yang womb. Like you are doing everything you can to create the womb that is necessary, the place, the safe place that is necessary for this to recover here. But it has taken quite a while here. It could have taken millions of years. And even though we have a fertile planet, like we know we are so many species here. Okay, sorry, I'm back. I just had to cut the video. Something was interrupting, so I'm back. So Scorpio, I feel like you've been in this energy for a very, very long time. This, whether you know this or not, whether you are even aware of it, I think it's inherited. Every Scorpio is inheriting this protective energy of defender, protector energy of the unconditional love from what was once. And we need you. Like, I can say this energy here needs you. Like, it needs you extremely much. Like, it's important to not give up, to not... It's like you're the one that still does the heart massage, right? In the cave there. When nobody is... You're still trying to do the heart massage while you are defending off all these whatever intruders that may come and want to look what happened, right? And we need you to not give up. We need you to not give up. I talked about in the last reading, the last Scorpio reading, it's called something like Yang Aftermath. I talked something about that a storm is coming. That storm, I said that, I talked about that storm a long time ago, many readings back. I said that a storm was coming. And the storm that is coming is not, well, it's a terrible storm maybe for you, Scorpio, because it's going to bring this forth. Like, it's going to test this for you. Like, are you prepared to actually stand up and do something here? Because this is what is needed. I said in the last Scorpio reading that it's what is coming, the storm that is coming is love. This one here. It's coming. It's coming back like the egg is hatching here, right? I don't know when. I don't know why. I don't know how. Maybe it's far out still in the future. I just know that it's coming. It's definitely coming. And what's coming is this wave of like fifth dimensional energy is coming in. Some of those that are really into like spiritual rituals and stuff, they talk about that the split is here. The split between the third dimensional realm and the fifth dimensional realm, that now we have to choose, right? We have to choose which one do we live in, which one do we want. The light codes are here, but we can refuse them, right? And those who will refuse them, they will stay in suffering. They will stay in the heart massage and the grieving, the potential grieving. They will stay there, right? But you can choose the fifth time. You can choose this because the light codes are actually here. It's like the healing. The healing is coming in for us. It's just, it depends on whether we are taking it or not. So I'm a Cancer Sun, and I believe that I am definitely called to open my heart and expand my heart and take in as much light energy as I can. But I'm telling you, Scorpio, to do the same. Especially if you want out of the heart massage. Like if you want this actually to hatch. If you want to be in a world that is not consumed by pain and other people's pain and the suffering and the lack and everything. We have to trust, right? You have to trust also that this actually can hatch again. That it actually, because he's come to the point where maybe it's, you know, like it has come to a point where like the heart massage is going on for millions of years here, right? And every time a new Scorpio is born, they inherit this heart massage. They're doing the heart massage, right? Of keeping something alive, the memory of something alive, the seed, like the seed of something, keeping it alive somehow. And it has gone on for so long. Many are protectors, and then there's this energy itself that actually has to come back. And that would be the Virgo energy. And I feel like that Virgo energy is probably going through a lot of transformation also. I'm a Virgo moon. I have definitely needing to shed a lot of I would say a tsunami of like terrible feelings. And maybe most Virgos actually do feel that as well. And you have been standing there like the guardian protector here, right? And needing to trust that it's going to heal itself, that it will come back. You know, like when a nuclear bomb is bombed somewhere, we know that for a while nothing can grow there. It's dead. Like the earth is dead in that area. Nothing, it's not fertile. Not other areas perhaps of earth, but in that particular area where something that massive has been striking, right? We know that for a long, long time, nothing grows there. What was it? It was this nuclear facility in was it Russia somewhere? Why can't I remember that? I get Hiroshima, but it's not. That's not what I'm thinking about. It was a nuclear plant, a nuclear facility plant that blew up, and it's 40 years back or something like that. And it's just now that certain plants can actually grow there. Not all plants, but certain plants can. And it's still a very high radioactive area. People are not supposed to live there. The facility and like many kilometers around the facility got evacuated and kind of, you could say it was an area not to go into. It's like, this is the blast area, right? Where, or the crater, you know, like a meteor crater, right? That the crater of something, that there's no life in it after a massive hit, you know, and that it takes a lot of time to recover from something like that. You know it also if you're in a car crash, right? That the wound you get, maybe it never really heals. It never gets back to what it was once. So we're living with the aftermath of something, and it was not what it was once. That's what I feel like. I had the tune come in also that says, do you believe in love after love? Like, do you believe in a love that stops and then a new love? Or a love that is hurt or painful, or do you believe in love after love? Can we believe in love after love? That when a love changes, or when a love disappears or is lost, can we love again, right? Do you believe that you can love again? That is also what I see here, right? That you are this, you are the warrior that is wanting to keep that sentence alive. That, do we believe in love after love? Like after the loss of it, can we love again? Or can we love in the same way again? Can we love in maybe an innocent way, a pure way? And can we even have the understanding that when opposites meet, for instance, right, that we have the respect for each of the energies. So you know that if your energy has been this protector energy for millions of years here, it can come to a point where people can get a bit fed up. is it ever going to happen, right? Is it ever going to come back? Maybe I need to let it go, right? Maybe I need to give up. As long as I hold on to one version, I will also compare with that version. As I said, do you believe in love after love? Can a new love come in? Or will you constantly compare it with what was? And if you're comparing it with what was, it may not be like the same, right? That it's a different one, perhaps. You know, two people, you can be in love with someone and maybe it's not working out, or you lose them. But if someone else presents themselves in your life and they are here, they offer something, will you accept it, or will you constantly compare with what was? That if you constantly compare with what was, we will not be able to recognize that something else can actually be loving and caring. Or it's not in the same fashion, right? It may not be fifth dimensional. It may not be graceful and healer-like, like Jesus here, or like the Virgin, or the child. Like, it may not be quite that trusting, but it's still trying, right? Will we allow it in if it's trying? It's trying to come in. Will we allow it to come in? Or are you still fighting, right? Do you still fight for the one that is laying there and is still trying to heal? I feel like I have to say that we all need to open our hearts and trust that what is coming, even though it feels, again, it will probably get your instincts up. Like the changes that may come in, it's challenging you to stay in the fighting mode, in the like heart massage. You're still keeping something alive that was once. But what it is that is trying to come in here is different, I think. It's not quite the same, but it's a healing energy. Like it definitely wants to heal something. It may feel different. You can't quite compare it. And again, maybe you don't even know what this is, right? Yeah, I think you know, but you know, like it could be that old. Like it could be so old that this is just a tiny memory of something that is so old and it's almost forgotten about. You're just the one that is still, you know, like not accepting it, that it's gone. You're the protector, and you have taken it to the bottom of the sea where nobody's watching, right? Because it has to heal, it has to recover. But down there, well, yeah, you're probably on your own. Nobody's really watching, right? Only the whales can go that far, and the creatures actually living down there. But so it also takes very specific healing or light codes energies to actually penetrate the water and get down there, right? You can keep it so hidden that no healing light can get to it, right? You can try to protect it so much that no healing light can get to it. So maybe we need to accept that it has to come, and maybe that's why this is here, that we have to talk about some of this stuff. Because what it really is that we want is We want a new beginning, right? We have an ace here. We have a page here, which is also like a new energy. We have another ace here of Raphael. And then we have the Innocent card, which is definitely also young and new. So it seems a little bit like wanting a new beginning. Can we have a new beginning? Can we have a new start? Can this not all start over again? Can this not hatch? Can it not come out? And then let's talk, right? Let's build. Let's heal. Let's do something. You can be quite secretive also, Scorpio, right? And maybe it's time to not be secretive. Like maybe you should say something. Maybe what we talk about here is that that this is someone you know, right, who got a massive hit at some point, and they are going through a healing process, and all you can do is standing there looking at it. You can't really do anything. You can't feed it, you can't help it, you can't heal it, you can only protect it, right? You can only be this container. That's usually the yang energy. It is the container, right? It's the one that keeps everything in a... And then the alchemy happens, the healing, the chaos, the creation, that's the yin energy. But the yin energy can only create and have her chaos going on, her creative chaos going on. If she's somehow contained, the woman has a womb, right? And in the womb, this alchemy happens. But if the womb is not there, that would be like the masculine part of her that kind of makes this safe space where everything can, you can say it's sterile. Nothing comes in there. And the womb is like this bubble, right? It's a bubble that is unaffected by everything else that goes on here. The feminine body is like the protector of whatever alchemy that is happening, the creative process of life that is happening. It needs a container. It needs a sterile or unaffected place to kind of create its change. Life creation is changing, right? The cells constantly change and evolve, and eventually it has created a child or a puppy, or it creates the womb of the female creates. But that process in itself, when it happens, the body undergoes a lot of change and hormones and all kinds of stuff. It's not a simple process. It goes on all over the place. So we take it kind of for granted, but actually it's a big process to create a life. And being the container here for something that seems like it's never going to wake up. It's like there's a seed, but it's never going to wake up. Maybe you need something here to revive this. Interesting. You know, like a man cannot become pregnant even though he wants to. So he has the container, right? But he can't. Even though there is a seed there that, like, the wish or the want to become pregnant and have a child cannot happen. Because the container is not right. You are the yang. So it could be that something is, what is that it's needed, that you need something. not that you become a female, right? Not that you get a female womb, but there could be something that could escalate your, that something happens here perhaps, right? That it, because I have aces here and page, and I have the innocent card here, the trust to your innocence, which is, I want to say all aces kind of represents new, starting from the scratch, having a blank slate, starting over, let's begin again, let's have it back, or you could say here, let's get this back, right? So what is it that, what is the key here for Scorpio? Can I have a card on that, please? So I get the decision card. This has come out quite a lot actually in some of the other readings. So the decision card, it says here, release yourself from that which holds you back, a need to detox, unnecessary worry based on lack of self-confidence here. So somehow I get the feeling that that it links to this idea of, can you love after love? That the love that was, the love that you may hold on to here, that you're still giving a heart massage on, that maybe you need to not do that. Like trust your intuition, the purple color is here. But it's about a decision. It's about choosing something, deciding something. Deciding to trust perhaps instead of not trusting, right? One is to keep your hope up, but you can keep your hope up. But then because so much time is going on, that so much time is passing and nothing is happening, that you're still sitting here. And I think it has been important that you were sitting here. You are the defender. You're the one creating the fire here, like the warrior gene of consciousness. Like you are the warrior of consciousness here, of higher vibrational consciousness. I think you're the warrior about who cares about this. So it's not, consciousness is emotions also. It is what stirs in the water. And if we are not trusting, for instance, that's definitely, can also definitely hijack our emotions, right? So the consciousness and our emotions are deeply linked with each other. So the decision here to detox, to release yourself from something that holds you back. We see here that she is holding the cage here of a bird. The cage is actually open. The bird can fly out and join the others here, but they are not doing so. They actually stay here. So again, I really feel this shift between the fifth dimension and the third dimension, that you can stay in the suffering, or you could choose your freedom and fly out and choose something that is more. That is more. Again, it is a protective energy, and I think it has been important for a while that there has been a protective energy here. But it's almost like I think you should not do that. It like the decision here almost tells me, try to walk away from this. Because he looks almost like he's hovering over it, you know, like having this like like a uber protective energy over something. Maybe you should try not to do that. Like maybe you should, because again, she's standing here and she can be very like uber protective of this little bird here. But the bird is not coming out as long as mother is standing here, or as long as this one is watching. the egg is not hatching. And this actually now this relates now to what I would call law of attraction. The more you grab onto something and you become hyper focused on it, the more it actually wants to run away from you, the more it wants to stay away from you. You know, like if you are very needy and clingy with a person, they will probably like try to shove you away. Like the more that you want to devour or hold on to something, the more it actually retracts and doesn't want to be part of it. You know, like and even though it's for protection, like I'm just trying to protect you, right? But the more I protect you, the more I shove you into this little place where you can, again, the bird sits in this cave here. And the cave is a protection, but or a home, but it's also a cage. It's a refinement, right? That if you're in there, you can't fly freely as these here. So again, now I get this like becoming too obsessive and controlling and devouring of something can also, even if it means that you're trying to protect it, like you're overly protecting your child, for instance, but that means that it can't really go ice skating, right? But because the ice could break and it can't really play football because you could break your leg or something. You can't really go skydiving with your friends, right? Because you could fall down, right? This idea that every time you do something out there on your own, something terrible could happen. So there could be a real overprotective energy. Maybe you have developed an overprotective energy here, right? And that overprotection, and maybe it was a decision you made once, that I will never leave this out of my sight. I will never leave it out of my sight, right? I will hover over it. I will stay there because this can never happen again. This must never happen again. But when it becomes that much, it's equally as devouring. As I said, if you took this energy here, the only place you thought was safe was at the bottom of the sea, because only you and the whales and the creatures living down there can be there. Nobody else can get there. So this is the only safe place I could take her. But no light can come there as well. So how should she ever light up again here? So if you take her into a place where there is no light for her to wake up to again. He sits here in the darkness here. There is no light for this one to wake up to. They need maybe sunlight. Maybe they need something. You know, like it needs food, or it needs a special kind of nurture. If you take a woman, a feminine, I said in this previous long time ago reading that the masculine found her lifeless and took her into a cave. And then he shoved a stone in front of it, and he was standing there fighting off everything. But it means that she lays there inside this dark cave. How can she somehow survive in there? Like, is there food there? Is there nurture? Is there shelter? Yeah, shelter maybe, but is there food? Is there nurture? Is there a kind hand? Is there bandages in there? Is someone heart massaging her? Or is she just left there on her own? And he thinks that as long as he's just fighting off everything here, she will be fine. But actually, maybe she needs a little more here, right? Maybe she needs you to walk away a little bit and take the stone aside so the sunlight can come in, right? So the light codes can come in. Like maybe you need to back off a little bit. You know, like that Russian nuclear plant that blew up. Well, we were told, people were told not to live there, to evacuate and get out, right? And it means the entire area is without population, nobody's there. It's kind of just laying there, like a dormant site that nobody is supposed to visit and be there, right? And it has taken a long time for it to recover. And the reason why it is recovering is because nobody is doing something. Like nobody is actually, you know, like nobody is drilling, nobody is it just had its time to recover. The sun could come, right? And the wind could come. Birds were flying over it. It was left, but it was not buried, right? It was not, we didn't like put a lot of cement around it or something. We were just letting it be. We were just letting it be. And well, there was concern, right? Again, the containment, like the concern was there. And the media talked about it, right? That we should stay away from, we should just kind of, it's like if you constantly scratch a wound here, open, it never really gets to heal, right? If you're constantly enmeshing yourself in it, if you're constantly like enmeshing yourself and you want to see, or you're putting all kinds of ointments and stuff on it, it may not heal. Actually, you must let it just be, right? You must let it just, and we can put bandages over it and everything, but sometimes it actually helps to take it off and let it just have fresh air. Maybe sun, maybe, you know, air or some light or something. We just have to let it like rejuvenate on its own and in its own time here. Being this massive protector around it, creating like massive concrete walls around it, or taking it down to the deepest sea may not actually help. So if this is a wound that you have, that you are carrying, you put it at the bottom here, maybe it's time to get it up and talk about it, right? That it's that this is one of the ways that we transmute energy. It's one of the ways that you can get, that instead of like keeping it at the bottom of the sea here, you actually take it out in the garden and you show others what this is. You talk about it and you show others. You attend, you know, like, I don't know, a grieving group, or you, that if you are out and about and people, they notice that something is different with you, you just tell them that, well, it's because I'm going through something. I'm not feeling okay at the moment, but it's nice to be here. It's nice to be here with you, even though I'm not quite okay, right? But this idea of not saying something, like hiding it, not speaking, keeping it a secret, it just keeps people guessing. And when people are guessing, they're creating all kinds of ideas. They create all kinds of fantasies, or definitely possibly illusions about you, right? So a key here for you is maybe to back off a little bit. Like if this one is you, right? Maybe you just set the cage down and walk away. And you see what happens. When the bird is ready, it will come out. It will hatch again. When it's ready to fly with the other birds again, it will do so, right? You know, and that's usually what happens, right? When we get a hit, we are in a car crash, and or something vital happens to us that where we need this rejuvenation, we get to the hospital, we lay there. We have tubes all over the place. We get medicine, we get treatment. We need to rest and rejuvenate and lay there. And yes, the containment is correct. We need that from the hospital, the nurses, the doctors, the treatment, yes. And then after a while, we can get home actually. Then we get home, we still have the containment of the home, the parents or the helpers there. And then at some point, when this broken leg is no longer broken, or if you have been going through a depression, I feel actually more like it's more mental, more emotional here. Then eventually when you are ready, you may start, like go back to school. You still feel like this misfit, like you're not feeling quite okay. But the massive protection of constantly needing to keep you, like shielded away from the world is probably not going to help either. That eventually, like an overprotectiveness of something is not helping, right? It's not helping to overprotect yourself if you have gone through something. It's not helping to overprotect others, overprotect your children. We can't shield them from everything in the world. We may want to because of the history of this, right? Because of not wanting to lose something here. But it also keeps you in a certain a certain state of mind. That something potentially could happen, something potentially could destroy something, and and I'm the protector. And if I'm not there at the right time, this will happen again. I wasn't there last time, so if I'm not here now, it probably would happen again, right? So I have to stay alert. It could result in like this over alert awareness of something. And a fear of not interacting with love again, right? That I can't trust. It's too dangerous to trust. I must be the protector. And if you are a protector, you cannot let your guard down. You cannot let your guard down. I must always be aware. I must always be attentive. I must always be on. So something is always switched on, like a protective mechanism or something. It's constantly on. And if that is always on, you can never relax, but you can also never love, really. Because if you let love in, you are in a vulnerable state and you cannot protect them. So this can be like a cycle of wanting to love and have this, like the beautiful connection here, but fearing it at the same time, because last time it was tremendously hurt and I couldn't defend. I wasn't there. I couldn't defend it. Or I was not prepared. And this massive hit got in. And when that happens, I cannot be the lover and the protector and defender at the same time. I cannot be the lover and the warrior at the same time. If I'm the lover and the warrior at the same time, it will be a mix. So what kind of lover am I? And what kind of lover am I? What kind of lover and what kind of warrior am I if I'm a mix of them? You know, can I be an attentive, caring lover if I'm also the warrior? Can I be a protective, defensive, alert warrior if I'm also a lover? Not really, right? It's either or is it, Scorpio, right? I just feel this like that could be the choice, that choosing to become the protector instead of the lover. But that's maybe what they need, right? Maybe they need the lover and not the protector. But I think for Scorpios, this can be difficult. If you have had your guard up once and becoming defensive about this, it's difficult to get them down again and trust and be open and all this. That it's that in itself is a journey. But I have all these like aces, page, innocent card. It's like someone wants to talk about a new beginning of something, a new, can we have a new start? Can we have the magic back here again? Can we have it back? But then you also need to go back to your innocence, Scorpio. Before this happened, what kind of lover were you, right? You also, it's not only that they need to go back here. It's not only that you want them back in their original form. You also have to come back in your original form. And what was that like? How were you before that happened? Before the hit came? Before something became conditional? Before life and death? Before like duality came? What kind of Scorpio were you? What kind of lover were you? Who were you? Were you overprotective and devouring and all this? Probably not. So I believe that it's not just that you want something back here. They want you back also in that form. So this is not just that you're waiting for something here to come back, to heal, to rejuvenate and something. They need you to step out of being the warrior, the protector, the over-focused, obsessed, they need you to become the Scorpio they knew before the hit. Does that make sense? Before life and death, before duality, before conditional love, before love and hate, before the flame here, before that. And you see, this is actually a great love story of two energies that really are opposite, I think, but they are also deeply embedded with each other. And they're actually protectors of the same energy, right? But when something hits, it's not just that it happens to one of them, it happens to both. So yes, maybe you are the one who came too late. You saw the aftermath. You saw the destruction. But you got hit by this also. And in order for this other to recover and regain their strength and start to blossom again, they need what they had from you before the hit. None of you can maybe return and become exactly what you were before the hit. But you can become something else by remembering something of what you were before the hit, what you were before the hit. This is the way you can meet up again, I think. Because the hit is part of both of your history. You can't, it didn't just happen to one of you. Well, one of you more than the other. But both energies were affected by this. It's not just one. And the other has to return to trust also. I feel like, Scorpio, you have to return to trust also. It's not just this energy that does, right? It's not just those that need to return to their innocence, to their purity, to their bright eyes, their laughter and their freedom and their free expression and their trust in life and joy. It's not just them. You do as well here. You do too. Like it's a cooperative. The change can happen in cooperation. So if one part needs to get their trust back, their amazement about the world and the light and life, it's not just one who does, the other does as well. I think that's part of this. What the key to this is that it's that this is a journey you have together. And yes, you are the container, you are the yang womb here. Just know that you can't crush it, right? You can't like, the more concrete walls you build around it, the less it can breathe. And the more it gets retracted, like the more it stays down because it can't breathe. Does it make sense? I hope it makes sense. And again, the new wave of energies that come in here, they can't delete it won't delete histories, but you can allow it to change your perception of what you must do, what you want to do. Do you want to hoover over this? Because he's kind of grumpy, and I think it's because it has been going on for such a long time. So it could have been on your mind for such a long time, being, as I said, you have been doing the heart massage for millions of years here, right? And when you have been so committed and so devoted and so into something with a non-radical existence, you are a fixed sign, Scorpio. So this is the stubbornness also of not wanting to give up. I'm not accepting this. I don't want to give this up, right? So I'm keeping doing the heart massage here until they wake up, right? Keeping doing the heart massage, no matter what. I don't care. But actually, maybe they don't need the heart massage. Maybe they need something else. And they don't need you to stand there and do this. Because this talks about your own will. It talks about what you want. Not so much what they want, right? They probably want to return to something also, or they want to evolve beyond this damage. Right? They want to evolve beyond the damage into something else. Maybe they want the rebirth. And you stay in the trauma, right? You see, there could be an energy that actually wants to leave. Maybe this energy wants to leave because it's evolving into something more. Even more desirable, perhaps. Jesus left, right? He could have fought the crucifixion, I think. The Son of God. The Son of God should have tremendous power, right? Why was he not fighting it? Why didn't he become angry? Why didn't he start the fire here? Because if he did that, he would step out of God's grace. He would step out of this. Unconditional love is unconditional. It means that you can care and have love for everything in this world. Everything. Even that which hates you, even that which wants to kill you, even that which is haunting you. So if you have God's grace here and you stand with that purity, it doesn't make sense to fight. That is not God's grace. Just my thoughts. That if you actually are a person who holds unconditional love in a third dimensional reality on earth here, that must be difficult actually, because there are energies that are not loving. And somehow you still have to love them. It's the yin and yang, it's the balance of everything. Jesus was a healer, a peacekeeper. He was not a fighter, not a warrior. Maybe in his own way, but it was with grace. He was fighting with grace, not with violence. So you see, if you're overprotective of an energy, you are putting it in a prison where it can't breathe. And that is it could be a yang expression, right, of how to deal with a problem. But not in a graceful way and not in a trusting way. It comes out of fear. Fear of loss. Lack. I have to protect what's left. What's left. So it's now dominated by the third dimensional conditional yang energy. And you can change that, Scorpio. By choosing to allow it to breathe and let it heal by itself. Not to say that you can't be the container, but you know, like being a container is not the same as doing a lot of stuff with them, right? That you don't have to give them this. Let them heal with their own alchemy. Let them use everything they know that is maybe about grace, that is about light, that is about... Let them call in Jesus and help them to heal, right? Let them do it their way. You can still be the container and hold space for it. Allow it to do its alchemy, but let them do it in their way. So when you meet people and you can spot on feel that they carry some of this trauma here, you can just decide that you want to hold space for them, right? And you can decide that I allow it to take just as much time as it needs. I'm not involving myself necessarily. I may say that I'm here, but I'm not going to enmesh myself in the process. I'm not going to give them all kinds of advice or something. I'm not going to tell them what to do. And I'm definitely not going to let them be caved here. The decision is not yours. But it could be difficult to walk away from this because I feel like it's in your DNA actually. Hardwired protector energy. And we definitely need you, Scorpio. We just need you to be like this, not like this, right? And I want to say, when you decide to take some of this away and decide to be the container here, the womb, the yang womb. The yang womb in itself is simply just moving with what is going on inside it. It's not pressing, it's not pushing back. It's allowing it to grow in the sense how it can grow. Just allowing it to be what it is. And whatever alchemy is going on in here, you are a protector here. But let the alchemy be their own here, right? Does it make sense? Obsessing, clinging, needing, becoming needy, becoming overprotective, or even devouring of some kind of energy is not going to help. It actually just makes the process even longer. That's what I feel like. And all the feelings that come with this long period of time where nothing is happening. Like you can go through all kinds of from rage to smashing something, and it doesn't matter. You can blow up a bomb beside it. It's not helping. It still stays in here. Because what it needs is you to return also to the energy you were. All the revenge, the hate, the bitterness, the frustration, all the fire here that came due to this massive hit is it's not helping. It's asking you to figure a way out to balance your energy so that you can come back to who you truly are, Scorpio. The one who was there before the hit. When things were fun and easy and light and before you got your toxic tail, before you got your armor. So are you willing to take your armor off and look what's inside? This is what I feel like the storm is about, that it's asking you to take the armor off, the toxic tail. Who are you without the armor and the toxic tail? Who's in there? Because that's who they need, right? That is exactly how pure they are. That's how pure they are, and they need you to be that as well with them. Does this make sense? And this is very vulnerable. It asks you to lay your armor down, your fire, and just stand there naked in front of them and be vulnerable. That is who they need you to be. Can you find that? Can you go back and find that Scorpio who was without an armor, who was not maybe even black, without the toxic tail, without the revenge, without the feelings of powerlessness, without death, without before that? Can you find that? And who are you, Scorpio, if you stand in that energy? What kind of person are you then? What is of utmost importance to you if you stand like that? Does this make sense? Yeah. Okay, this is what I have. Again, a long reading, but I anticipated that. I had so much energy come in. And I haven't even touched maybe just a quarter of it. There were so many intense feelings here, and but I think that I got the meaning out. I think that I got most of the information. I hope this helped, Scorpio, in some way. Please comment below if you feel like it. Give it a thumbs up if you like what I do. This can be a time where, and I'm not saying now, I say maybe for the next couple of years, maybe further. Maybe this will be a lifelong thing that comes in for you, that you are asked to take the armor off and become the one you were before everything got duality. Good and bad, evil and light, right? You know, like before that. Yeah. And that could be the storm, right? It's going to challenge you. Like everyone else, but it's definitely going to challenge you. Take care of yourself out there, Scorpio. I send you my very best. Love and light to you. Bye-bye.